The keto diet. Very, very controversial stuff. Some people say it's incredible. It's the best thing ever for weight loss. It's the best thing for brain health. It's the best thing for athletic performance. And there's other people saying, wait a minute, hold on, not so fast. There's actually a whole bunch of research that suggests maybe those things are not quite true. There are, in my opinion, many, many people in this field who misrepresent the science, who cherry pick the science to support their particular dietary dogmas and belief systems or their financial agendas. One of the people who I respect the most, maybe the most of anybody in this field as a low-carb keto expert, is Luis Villaseñor. And I had him on the podcast to discuss. It was a wonderful episode. I highly recommend listening to the full-length episode. The link for that is down in the description below. But here's a wonderful little piece of that provides some excellent value. So listen to this little clip and also check out the full-length podcast. Enjoy.
Like a lot of people are drawn into ketosis, especially now, in fact, which is, a lot of people are doing it because it's in fashion and you see a lot of people talk about it. It's because it's in a way advertised as a diet where you can eat whatever you want in the sense of amounts and not gain fat or even lose. So a lot of people are attracted to, I don't have to diet and actually lose weight. The reality is that, yeah, it works for some people up to a point, for the following reasons. In the sense, again, of fat loss, because there are other benefits that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So first, yes, it does, in a way, have anorexigenic properties, which means that it reduces hunger and cravings up to a point, and depending on exactly how you do the diet, which can be also obtained by doing other things. But again, this is one of the main benefits of doing this diet. Ketones per se have this, it's not really understood how, but higher ketone levels in your body makes you not so hungry and not so anxious about food. That's one of the main benefits. So what happens is, yeah, you get full faster, you don't have hunger, you're not really anxious about food, and thus the effect is that for most people you end up eating less calories, and so you lose a lot of weight. Now, a lot of people are also very enamored, I'd like to say, with fast approaches or fast results. So when you're doing, let's say, a normal diet, a standard American diet, or very much a higher carb diet, which is, I'd say, prevalent everywhere in the world right now, and you start doing a low carb diet, you lose a lot of water weight. So it gives you the illusion that you're losing 5, 8, 10 pounds in the first week, which is a huge boost in confidence, and you keep on doing that because you see immediate results. That really doesn't happen with most other diets, right? So first, yeah, it's like an illusion, but it's a good in the good sense. But again, some other people, like, they start to do cheat meals or things like that and then regain all of that weight they lost in the first place, because again, it was your water weight manipulation in the sense. But yeah, the main benefit that a lot of people will experience, and I say a lot because it's not everyone, is usually less hunger. And so it makes the diet very manageable for a lot of them. And now we have other effects that may be more so in the sense of therapeutic, or those people that are into biohacking, which are, you can concentrate a little bit better. You feel more focused up to a point, less tired. And less tired, again, into a degree that for some people it even becomes anxiousness. Some people report that they are less tired, but it also becomes sort of a problem because maybe at night they cannot go to sleep as easily because they're overly energized or amped up. So again, there are like a lot of people where the diet may work very well, some others that need to, probably increase a little bit more of carbs, or maybe not optimal for them for certain situations, etc. But the main benefits are mostly that. Of course, the less hunger, some of better focus, and I forgot about, of course, another super important benefit is that it helps you have lower levels or stable insulin levels, which is super important for people that may have metabolic disease or are diabetics in a way, because it helps them probably mitigate a lot of the energy issues from having a low metabolism per se, or being diabetic, or being having issues with blood glucose.
Well, so let me comment on a few things you just said. One, I want to briefly state that I love the level of nuance in your thinking, and I love the commitment to scientific integrity, because there's a few things I want to point out for listeners who might not have picked up on it. One, there is this very common myth that's out there that is actually actively perpetuated and promoted by a lot of keto gurus, that that conflate the water weight loss that happens within the first few days or week or two of being on a keto diet. They conflate that with weight loss. They conflate it with fat loss in particular, instead of differentiating it like you just did. And the point, as you said, is we store glycogen in the muscles and in the liver. And for every gram of glycogen, we store something like 2.5 grams of water. So one of the things that happens when you decrease carbs in your diet is basically the body flushes out all of that water as glycogen is depleted. You see this rapid weight loss, and so many people, millions of people, see that and they go, wow, this diet's amazing. I'm losing fat like I've never lost it before, but they don't understand they're not losing fat, they're losing water. The other really critically important thing that you said that I think cannot be overemphasized, because there's so many millions of people that don't understand this accurately, is that a lot of the people in the low carb and the keto communities for the last decade or so or more have been promoting this idea that insulin is the factor that regulates body fat. And by decreasing carbohydrate intake and going on a low carb keto diet, you lower the insulin levels, and therefore that causes fat loss, purely based on a hormonal effect that is unrelated to the calorie intake. And what you said is basically there is an anorexigenic effect. There's an appetite inhibiting effect from being in a state of ketosis that causes people to eat less calories. And it is the lower calorie intake that drives the fat loss. So, and please feel free to add to that or correct in any way if you want to add
No,
it.
that's totally. It's something that I've been saying for very much since I started. I'm gonna go a little bit on later on my background on how and why I started the diet and why I keep doing it. But yeah, very much. A lot of people think that they can eat whatever they want, and it doesn't matter as long as they are in a low insulin state. Very much because this comes again. It's I call it the parroting effect, right? You like someone says something in an overly simplified way to maybe get a point across, and then you have people that again are not bad intentioned, but they've had success with the diet, but they don't know all the little nuances behind how certain systems in our body work. They understand just a little bit of, or a part, and so they start giving a message, and then another one picks up and gives the message, and then in the end, this echo chamber, the only thing that they pick up is insulin. Insulin is bad. If you keep insulin low, it's the way to not gain weight. No, it doesn't happen like that. Yeah, of course, probably have high insulin levels all the time, and this is how I explain it. And please correct me if my explanation doesn't make sense or it's incorrect in some places, because I'm trying just to, again, give a brief explanation, easy to understand, without taking away maybe a lot of the nuances. But as always, the more easy you make it, maybe the message doesn't come across as it should be factually or scientifically correct.
Yeah.
So insulin, in a way, how I explain it, is very much like a bouncer in a bar, in a way, or it's like a door or a portal. It helps you get nutrients across, especially in your blood, to your blood cells. It helps transmit energy and nutrients. So yeah, there are certain foods, because for whatever reason, let's not talk about evolution or food in our environment, that were scarce and bring a lot of energy. So our body wants to survive. So it's a super energy dense food that it's not going to be available all the time. Let's get it in and let's use those nutrients. And fat, in a way, or foods that don't have a higher insulin effect, they will still get into your cells slowly but surely. So again, going back to the example of a portal, there are certain foods that open the door in a very big, like they open the door they make the door very big, more so like it's not a door, it's like a portal in a way. and it stays open depending on the amount of food or the energy that you are intaking at that time. While foods that may have lower insulin effect, they still open the door. The time that the door stays open depends on the amount of energy, but it's more so a small door, but it's still open. So if you're eating lots of fat, probably doesn't have a high insulinogenic effect, but the door is still going to be open. And they're going to raise insulin, not as high maybe as you had a donut, but it's still going to stay open, maybe even for longer because it has more calories.
Hey, this is Ari. I hope you enjoyed this video. And one more thing before you go. Actually, two more things. One is if you enjoyed this particular little clip, the link to the full-length podcast is in the description down below. So make sure to check that out. Also, one more thing. Let me ask you a question. What if I could show you how to double your energy levels and dramatically improve your brain function, reducing your anxiety and depression to a degree on par with antidepressant drugs, but without the side effects? Sound pretty interesting? Well, there are, in fact, numerous compounds that can do this, that have been shown to do this. And I'll take you through just a few of these very briefly. One of them is rhodiola rosea. And this has been shown in studies, rhodiola rosea extract, in people with stress-related fatigue and exhaustion to cut their levels of fatigue and brain fog in half in less than a month. Just this one compound. There's another compound in my formula Energenesis called NT factor phospholipids that's been shown to help repair mitochondrial membranes and mitochondrial health to the level of healthy 29-year-olds, taking people with deteriorated mitochondria who are over the age of 65, restoring it to the level of healthy 29-year-olds. And that has been shown in numerous studies in various types of chronic fatigue, aging-associated chronic fatigue, obesity-related chronic fatigue syndrome, to increase energy levels by 30 to 45% in the span of 4 to 12 weeks, depending on the specific study. So dramatic improvements in a very, very short period of time. Two more compounds that are amazing, I highly recommend, that are in my formula Ultra Brain, along with rhodiola rosea. Saffron extract. This has been shown to increase levels of, improve your mood, I should say, and decrease levels of depression on par with fluoxetine, which is Prozac. And not only that, but with fewer side effects. It's much safer and much less likely to cause negative effects than antidepressant drugs are. Acetyl L-carnitine is another compound that's been shown to dramatically improve brain health in older adults. It also improves energy levels in older adults with chronic fatigue by between 40 to 50% in just the span of 2 to 4 months. And the last thing I'll mention here is acetyl L-carnitine has also been compared to antidepressant drugs and been shown, like saffron, to be as effective as antidepressant drugs in combating depression, but without the harmful side effects that so often occur with the drugs. So this is just a small sampling of the over 35 compounds that are in my formulas Energenesis and Ultra Brain that are all proven to dramatically improve energy levels, mitochondrial health, and brain health, and much, much more. And I highly recommend that you go check these out. If you're struggling with depression or anxiety or brain fog, if you're struggling with stress-related exhaustion and burnout, if you're struggling with chronic fatigue, go check out these formulas, give them a shot. I promise you are going to be blown away by the results. And like I said, the science has already proven that these things work. So you don't have to just take my word for it. There's lots of research to support that, and I'll even link to some of that research down below so you can verify everything that I just said for yourself. So the links to those studies will be in the description for this video down below. So check them out. Check out the formulas on the energyblueprint.com. Again, Energenesis is the mitochondrial formula, and Ultra Brain is our brain formula. Check them out, try them out, and I think you're going to be blown away by the results. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you again soon.